If any of these are out of order, and if yourself isn't in first place, these other areas are going to suffer. They're going to be impacted in a negative way. They're not going to be able to thrive. They're not going to be able to grow. They're not going to be able to flourish. We're not going to be able to have as significant impact on others. We're not going to leave a mark as we should. And oftentimes when we're looking at leaving a mark or trying to be a role model, right? Trying to be an example for others, how can we truly be an example for others if we are not taking care of ourselves? If we are not first living that to then be able to give that as an example for others to follow. Let's go. You are incredible. Your body has a purpose. Your life has a purpose. You were designed to live the best life possible. What would your life look like in 1 month if you decided to take hyper responsibility in all areas of your life starting today? Today's episode, I want to break that down further, so join me. Let's go. Mic check. Mic sound okay? Camera 1 good? Camera 2 good? All right, here we go. Welcome back to yet another episode. What's going on, my friends? You are tuned in to listen. You're not defeated. And I'm your host, David Hernandez. Look, as a quick reminder, every Tuesday and Thursday, we are bringing a brand new episode. So make sure if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, click the subscribe button and click the little bell so you don't miss any. You can get all the notifications. You don't miss any episodes. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast station, click the follow button so you don't miss an episode. Tuesday and Thursday is really the focus to bring insight to impact your health, your life, your well-being as a whole, right? And I'm super excited because we are less than 2 weeks away from my big day. I'm getting married July 16th, as I've already talked about. It is just around the corner, and my fiance and I are super excited. And you know what? I'm really happy because I finally found somebody not only that I truly love, but somebody that makes me better. That was one of my desires, finding somebody that I could do life with, but more importantly, that can just enhance me and make me better as a man, make me better as a human, make me better as a business owner, or in all senses of life, right? And I'm really excited because we are a few days away from this amazing day, and I'm just excited because I can share this together with you all, the audience, and all the supporters out there that have just been sending us great wishes and happy wishes. Thank you so much. We will be sharing more of that exciting day as we get closer to that. But nonetheless, I want you to know that in spite of this amazing event happening, you're not going to miss an episode. We're preparing all the episodes so that you can still have the information because, look, I want to continue to provide value no matter what circumstances may arise. And it is about giving you insight to help you crush it, right? To help you live the life that you desire, health, wellness, mindset, all things helping you become a better human being so that you can live the life that you desire. So at the beginning of today's episode, I proposed a question, right? And I really believe that when we grasp this concept and we can really look at, well, what is responsibility, but more importantly, what are the fundamentals of responsibility? And for me, what is the number one responsibility as a human? That's a big question, right? And going back to that question, like, what would your life be like if you were to take hyper responsibility of what? Well, of the one thing I believe is the number one responsibility we should be focusing on as human beings. And that is broken up into 3 areas. And in that, it's really you, but more specifically, your health, your body, and your life, right? I believe that when we understand this concept of responsibility in looking at this order of knowing that your number one responsibility as a human is your health. And in that is your body, which impacts your life. Look, things can change and things can shift because health is a choice and it is your responsibility. In that, meaning that without your health, everything around you suffers or everything around you is impacted. When I say suffers is because your health is bigger than you. I say this often because I firmly believe it within my soul is that your health impacts everything about you. Your health impacts yourself. It impacts your body. It impacts how you live life. It impacts your kids. It impacts your finances. It impacts your performance. It impacts your ability to think. It impacts your memory. It impacts your emotions. It impacts your ability to interact. It impacts literally everything about you and therefore impacting your entire environment. So therefore, when we're looking at this concept of health, look, why do you think it's that we have one body and we have one life? If that's the case, then it must mean that it's important, because without your health, you're going to suffer. Without your health, you're going to be consistently sick. Without your health, you're going to be limited. Without your health, you're going to be restricted. You're going to be restricted of the life that you want. And if your body is not aligned with that, your body is going to also suffer. Physical limitations. Not being able to enjoy things in life, not being able to travel, not being able to play with your kids, not being able to play with your grandkids, not being able to explore, to go on adventures, to do the things that maybe you truly desire. And maybe you know of somebody that is, in a sense, an example of that, because maybe they have certain health limitations because of certain illnesses or because of certain injuries, right? Their body is affected. So therefore, the way they live life, the things that they do are also affected. So when we're looking at this concept today, I want to invite you to really explore and really look at, well, have I been taking responsibility of the one thing that I believe is most important above all things? Your health, your body, your life. Oftentimes, we are really quick at putting others before us. Oftentimes, we are very easily drawn away or steered away to want to help others. We'll maybe put our job responsibilities first. We'll put our kids first. We'll put things that we may need to be doing for our family, for a loved one, for a friend, right? We'll put helping the neighbor a lot of times before ourselves. And even though those things are good, they tend to steer us away from affecting our life, in the sense that when we are putting others before ourselves, we are sacrificing ourselves. Oftentimes, there are people that even put pets before themselves. We're willing to, if we have pets, oftentimes there's stories of those that are willing to, invest in daycare for their kids, right? They'll go get medication when they're sick. They'll smash up the medication. They'll give the medication to the set pet, right? Dog, cat, whatever it is. They'll nurture it. They'll take care of it. I remember growing up as a kid, I got a 2-week-old puppy, and I would give it milk from a bottle. And we do all of these things that oftentimes they are beautiful things, right? Because we should love animals. We should take care of them. We should be able to support them. But most times when we look at, well, what are we doing for ourselves? Are we taking these exact measures for ourselves? Many people that are struggling with certain illnesses or certain pains oftentimes won't even go purchase their medication. They won't take their medication. They won't go to doctor's appointments when they know they're hurting. They won't take care of the most basic needs, which is themselves, but yet they're able to put others before them. And when we start taking these actions, it literally starts affecting us. One, psychologically, look, our body has memory, and it's impacted by every choice and every action that we take. And when we start neglecting ourselves, in a sense, we're rejecting ourselves. We're rejecting our well-being. We're rejecting our health. We're rejecting ourselves as humans. And when we neglect and we start to reject and we start to put others, everything that then there should be in its best state starts to dwindle. It starts to be affected emotionally, right? Physically, subconsciously, in so many different ways. So when we're looking at this concept, we've got to look at really being honest with ourselves and looking at, am I really being responsible for my health, my body, and my life? If the order is not in the right place, if the things are not in the right order, look, we're not going to be as effective as we want to be. And oftentimes when we're looking at even the things that are going on in the world, right, where we have a lot of people trying to defend certain things and standing for certain rights and standing for certain things that are going on in the world that are absolutely great. And many of them are very important. But if we're not putting ourselves first and taking care of ourselves, look, we're not going to be able to be effective in impacting those areas around us. We're not going to be able to impact our community. We're not going to be able to impact truly the environment in the sense of how we would like it. There's a certain pyramid that we can label as that I believe are the order of responsibilities we should be taking. Number one is yourself, your health, your body, your life, the things about you personally. Secondly, would be your family. In that is your spouse, your partner, your kids, your parents, your grandkids, right? Everything related to family. And then thirdly would be community. And in that community is your work, your job, the things that you do, right? Extracurricular activities, the things that you do for the community, right? Your job and your finances impact the community. The things that you do as a hobby, as a profession, impacts the community, impacts society, impacts the things around us. So if the things that we're looking at are not in this order in terms of our own responsibility and how we are looking at life and responsibility, it's going to be out of order. And if any of these are out of order, and if yourself isn't in first place, these other areas are going to suffer. They're going to be impacted in a negative way. They're not going to be able to thrive. They're not going to be able to grow. They're not going to be able to flourish. We're not going to be able to have as significant impact on others. We're not going to leave a mark as we should. And oftentimes when we're looking at leaving a mark or trying to be a role model, right? Trying to be an example for others, how can we truly be an example for others if we are not taking care of ourselves? If we are not first living that to then be able to give that as an example for others to follow. We see this happening in many different occasions, right? We see this happening with CEOs that are certainly demanding employees to be their best, to perform at their best, to have, a lot of things in line and be able to do the best performance when maybe you might know of some or have met some CEOs that aren't living that out themselves. They're not taking care of their health. They're not eating properly, right? They're not being diligent to get the proper amount of sleep. They're not performing at their best, but yet they're demanding it to others. In the same way, we also look at other leaders, right? Even leaders in the church. Other pastors that might be speaking and wanting speaking to live a better life, to be healthy, to be the certain example, but yet they might not be being that example from the pulpit. And that goes for any leader, right? Same thing when we're looking at even maybe not that high case of an example, but let's look at homes. Parents that might be demanding their kids to make better choices, to study or to finish their homework or to clean after themselves or to stop eating sugar, to eat healthier, to do things around the house. But yet many of them might not be living that or being that example for their kids to see. And when we're looking at all these things, we have to know that everything around our environment, we are learning from it. We are learning certain things of how we live life. So as parents, as leaders, we've got to know that there are eyes on us. And in that is they are looking at the things that we are doing. I sometimes talk about this and I'll talk to my clients or my students and I'll tell them, what if I was an unhealthy, overweight trainer? Would you listen to me? Would you listen to the advice, to the tips, to the information that I share with you? Well, some might, but oftentimes many might not, right? Why? Because if I'm talking about health or I'm talking about nutrition, I'm talking about exercise and living your best, and I'm not doing that myself, well, I don't have the authority to be able to speak that. I don't have the authority to be able to give advice. Why? Because I'm not living that. I'm not being that example. So when we're talking about life and we want to leave an impact on life, we've got to be able to walk that out. We've got to be able to be in a place to where I'm saying, if I'm going to speak on certain topic or if I'm going to be the best in whatever area, I've got to live out that. And it starts by looking at inside of us and looking at, am I being responsible and am I doing the things that I should be doing to live the best life, to be the best person? Sage Journals did a article and they specifically said, health is your choice and your responsibility. It's our choice. Responsibility is taking ownership. Responsibility is a choice. And when we are not making the choice or owning up to the number one responsibility that I believe is key, which is our health, our life, and our body, the things that then come after are not going to be as effective. So therefore, health is a choice, but it's up to us to see if that health is going to be a part of our life. Because if we're not taking responsibility and we're not making that choice and saying, I am going to choose to live healthy, I am going to choose to put myself first, to take care of myself, to watch what I eat, to go out and do things to better my life, then are we ever truly going to be that? Are we ever truly going to receive that? And it's very easy to make comments or to blame others or to look at external factors as to why maybe today you might not be living healthy. You might not have the body that you desire. You might not have the life that you desire. We've all heard them. And maybe we've said them. I know at some point in my life I was guilty of that. It's just the American standard food is just processed food. Everything has sugar, so what am I going to do about it? It's because they brought these donuts in to work. I can't tell them no. I got to have one. It's because they invited me to this social gathering and they have this buffet there and how am I going to tell them no? It's very easy to blame others. It's very easy to look at external factors as the cause or the reason as to why today we might be living the life that we're living, or might be in the health condition that we're in, or might have the body that we have. But when we invite responsibility into our life, and we start to look at responsibility as a choice, and I start to look at, I'm no longer going to point fingers or blame others or look at external factors as the cause for why I'm living the way I'm living, but I'm going to choose responsibility. It now gives you the ability and the opportunity to do something about it. The beauty of responsibility is that when we now become and start to take responsibility, take ownership for our health, take ownership for our body, take ownership for our life, you are now able to do something about it. Why? Because you can control that. Oftentimes as humans, we tend to focus on the things that we can't control. How somebody thinks about us, how somebody looked at us, what the person down the street is saying or thinking. We want to change certain things that are just out of our control. And when we are focusing on trying to change things that are out of our control, we're going to be living limited or living under restriction. And we are literally going to be suffering. Because those things, we have no control of them. We can't control how people think. We can't control what people say. We can't control how people respond to us. We can't control how the government or how the American standard food system is. We can't control what legislation does. We can't, to a certain degree, control what leaders do or what they're feeling. We can't control any of that stuff. But we can control how we feel about it, how we respond to it, the choices we make. We can control what we put in our mouth. We can control what we do on a daily basis, whether we're going to sit or we're going to go for a walk. We can't control the choices of foods that we make. We can't control what we put in our shopping cart. We can't control the choices that we make when we go out as a family. We can't control the vacation that we go take. We can control all of those things. So when we take responsibility, you give yourself a chance. You give yourself a chance to decide, what life do I want to make of this? What life do I want to have? What life do I want to acquire? What things do I want to start having in my life? If health is a choice and it is our responsibility, that means that you can decide how your body is going to be and how your life is going to look. When we take the stand of putting the things first and knowing that your number one responsibility as a human is your health, your body, and your life, you can reduce the secondary side effects that come when you don't put these things as number one responsibilities in life. This article continued to say that this is a dominant refrain in the United States, right? And even in spite of that, it says that even though the U.S. is the most expensive and it pays out the highest in healthcare, people do not take responsibility for their health. And then the CDC goes on to say in this article that despite, here it says, aside from unintentional injuries, such as motor vehicle crashes, firearm accidents, and drug overdoses, most deaths in the United States are caused by chronic lifestyle diseases. Heart disease, cancer, chronic lower respiratory disease, stroke, and diabetes, which are associated with the ways people live. With the ways people live, and in that is the choices people make, the decisions people make, the responsibility people take. And it goes on to say that estimates by researchers of the CDC suggest that up to 40% of these deaths could be prevented. 40% of these deaths, which are linked to non-communicable diseases, which actually is the number one leading cause because of overeating, obesity, being overweight, is linked to the number one leading cause of non-communicable diseases, which according to the CDC, which I believe is even higher, 40% of these circumstances could be avoided. How are they avoided? By taking responsibility of our health, by taking responsibility in choosing health, by taking responsibility of our body and choosing to make our body be healthy, making our life be a healthy lifestyle. But it all starts by making the choice. making the choice to choose health. But more importantly, making the choice to put yourself first. How can we be the best parent? How can we be the best human if we put ourselves third, fourth, and oftentimes we put ourselves last? There are so many other things that come ahead or before taking care of ourselves. Why? Society has taught us that we should serve others and put those before us and help others often more than us. While that is important, you cannot help somebody if you are not first able to help. You cannot be a blessing if you are not first blessed. You cannot help somebody financially if you are not first financially able to. Which is why when you're in an airplane, the number one thing they tell us is if there is ever a turbulence and then if there is lost pressure within the aircraft and the oxygen masks come down, they say put the oxygen mask on yourself first and then help your son, daughter, or the person next to you. That in itself is an amazing teaching. That if we do not help ourselves first, if we do not put that attention on ourselves first and make sure that we're healthy, that we're physically good, that we have a great life, that we are taking care of ourselves first, we're not going to be able to help others. We might, but not as effectively. You might, but not in the way that you could if you decided to become hyper responsible for your life. How much better could your life be if today you chose to shift? If things were out of order, you chose to shift and start putting your life first. Start putting your health first. Start putting your body first. Start putting you first. How much better could life be? If today you're listening, you might say, yeah, David, well, there's other things that just haven't let me and life is pretty good right now. Okay, great. But how much better could it be if you did decide to put things in a different order if today they are out of order? If today you're looking at saying, yeah, it's true, right? And this information as I'm sharing, I'm not sharing this to judge you, to bash you, to shame you, really to allow us to reflect together and say, yeah, things have been out of order. I have been putting others before me. Well, if life is good right now, how much better could it be? How much better could your life be? I had a conversation with a gentleman yesterday, and he was sharing how he saw his wife for 50-some years drink and smoke every single day. And he would tell her, go out for a walk. Go out for a walk. He would beg her, he said. I would beg my wife to get up the couch and go for a walk. She didn't. And she ended up dying at about, I think she was 54, 55 years old. In that, he also started to live that similar life. But he said that when his wife died, he realized that he was neglecting himself. He was 56 years old, afraid to step inside of the shower because he was so overweight, afraid that he would slip and fall. Over 250 pounds, unhealthy, could not walk, could not stand. But when he had that wake-up call and he chose to take on responsibility and he chose to put himself first, that man has lost over 80 pounds. He's walking over 10 to 15, 20,000 steps a day. He's loving life. He's excited. He has energy. He says, I can hardly even sleep because I want to just get up and move and walk. He is thriving now. He says, now I don't even need to go to the doctor, but I have to go just to commit to the appointments that I had already set. And when I have conversations with the doctor, we can't even talk at the same level because I'm such at a higher level in the things that I want of health that the doctor just says, well, make sure you eat some good food and go for a walk. He's wanting to do so many different tests on himself and wants to explore so many different things for himself because he's now understood that when as he's started to become healthy, his life has just changed tremendously. He was able to go out with his family, go to the parks, to amusement parks, to walk. He was able to go and move and lift boxes and do things that he's never been able to do. Able to enjoy his family. Able to spend time with his mom and go take her shopping and do the things that she wants to do that he was not able to do. And how was that how did that come about? Because he chose to put himself first. He chose to take the number one responsibility of taking care of his health, of his body, and his life. There's a sad statistic that says that the premature death rate caused by obesity is 20 to 25 years. That means that people die 20 to 25 years younger than they're supposed to because of being unhealthy, overweight, and not able to live the life that they should be. 20 to 25 years premature death rate. I don't know about you, but that should not be you. That should not be me. That should not be anyone. Why? Because it's there for us. Health is there for us to take and to choose. But just like everything, it's our responsibility to choose that. So as I close today, I just want to leave this final thought and leave this invitation out for you. What are you choosing today? Are you choosing yourself? Are you choosing your health? Are you choosing your body? Are you choosing your life? If not, why? I really would like you to take a moment to answer that. Why is that? Why is that the case for you? What is stopping you? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it insecurity? Is it shame? Is it rejection? Is it hate? Is it anger? Is it rage? Is it because you just don't care about your life? You don't think you have value? You don't think you have worth? What is it? Because what I do know is that if you're alive, you're a gift and your life is valuable. The chances of being born are 1 in 400 trillion. And some even say it's 1 in 400 quadrillion. 1 in 400 trillion chances of being born a human. So you are valuable. You are worth it. You were a gift from God, the Creator, or who you believe in creation. He chose to make you human and become a part of this world and be born. You have worth. You have value. Therefore, if you have worth and value, you have life, you have a body, you are worth living for. You are worth living a healthy, fit, engaging, thriving life, the life that you desire to have. And I get it. Maybe life has been hard. Maybe people have rejected you, abandoned you, mistreated you. Look, there's a lot of ugly in this world. But there is also a lot of good in this world. And as I speak to you, I invite you to choose health. I invite you to choose yourself. I invite you to choose a good life, the best life, because it's there for you.
as it's there for me too. And if today you just find yourself in a crossroads and you're like, I don't know how to do this. I've tried it. It's not working. I don't know how to achieve this. I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to support you in any way that I can. And I want you to know that I'm here to serve you because you're worth it. I lost my childhood best friend at the age of 21 to obesity. And from that moment, I made a commitment that as long as I knew of somebody or I can impact somebody's life, I was going to do everything that I could in my power to help them stop or help them avoid going through what my best friend went through. And that is why I'm here. That is why I'm connecting with you. So today, if you need help, ask for help. It's okay. There is power, there is courage, there is vulnerability in asking for help. And I'd love to support you in any way that I can. As I close today, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me on this journey as I explore more of this information for you. But as I explore my own journey in helping others, thank you, because I couldn't be able to do it without you. So, as a reminder, Tuesday and Thursday, brand new episodes. Make sure you tune in. And if you haven't already subscribed, I just want to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the little bell so you get all the notifications of our up and coming episodes. And know that if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast station, just click the follow button so you don't miss an episode. Thank you for tuning in. You've tuned in to Listen, You're Not Defeated. And if you haven't already followed me, let's connect on social. There's my handle at the bottom, at Dave K. Hernandez. Connect with me on all social media platforms. You can find me under that handle. Let's connect and have a conversation. If you would like to connect on a deeper, more intimate level, look, you can always reach me at my website, www.davidhernandez.co, davidhernandez.co. You'll find it there at the bottom. And also, if you'd love to shoot me an email, you have any questions, specific things that you might want to ask so that I can support you, shoot me an email to listennotdefeated@gmail.com. listennotdefeated@gmail.com. Once again, my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Listen, You're Not Defeated, and I'm your host, David Hernandez. I want you to know that I love you. I want you to know that I'm here for you. And more importantly, know that you are incredible and you are not defeated. Go out, crush it, and live your best life. I will see you on the next episode. Take care. Peace.